Hello everyone, this is Priyasha from XAT and welcome to the second study session. Now before I get started, I would like to tell everyone who's watching it for the first time that study sessions are different from the normal theory sessions, because in the study sessions I try to mimic you guys and try to give you the approach with which any aspirant should target the questions. Now there are two major reasons behind it. Number one, how will it be different? Because the level of explanation will not be deep down. For example, if you are giving an exam or a mock, you are not explaining it to yourself during the exam that why exactly this was so wrong and why exactly this is so correct and things like that. You will just move through the questions using small keywords and would go through the option elimination technique to do the questions faster and learn better from it, right? So we will be doing the same thing over here in the study sessions as well. But now the most important part for all of you to understand and remember in these study sessions is that the most ultimate thing which is going to help you right now is the approach of targeting the questions and the right sets to practice. Because you know what guys, you have ample study material there in the mega drive link which I have provided you in the Telegram group. But the thing is that you don't have ample time to solve all of it. So even if you want, you can't practice so much of it right now. So it's very essential that for the last few days left for your examination, it is important for you to target around those questions which would help you to learn better and more from a single question. That means doing one question will be more better than doing lots of questions of the similar category. Okay, so let's get started. Also, I want to tell you that there will be 2 to 3 questions you will expect in the XAT paper from error detection part, and the pattern has been fairly consistent for the past so many years. That is, they give you different sentences and you have to find out the error or the correct sentences. So in this video I'll be covering some 12 questions. 2 of them will be PYQs and the remaining will be non PYQs, and I literally want to tell you that I will show you how and why I target these type of questions while practicing for any examination. So देख लो आप अच्छे से. This is the PYQ. You will find this PYQ much easier after you do these 10 questions with me in the study session. Why will that be? So, because as I said, the time is really limited, really less, and it's important for all of us to target those questions from where we can learn more in a single question. So, look at this one here. The pattern of the question is slightly different. You have a big paragraph divided into different parts, okay, or different sentences, and you have to observe which of the following out of them or which combination is incorrect. Okay, so we will try to go through these and we'll figure out what is the answer. By the way, this PDF will be shared in the Telegram group guys, so I would always suggest you people to try it on your own first and then watch for the solution, because then only it will make more sense. All right, so let's get started and look at the first sentence itself. When I wake. So now from now onwards I'm starting mimicking as a aspirant, so I would not be going into much in-depth detail. You can slow down the video, but then I'll give you just one pointer and the approach with which you should answer these questions. Okay, so be ready for all of that. So let's get started. So here, the moment I see the word wake, when I wake doesn't make sense at all, right? So it should be when I woke. So when you're preparing for the exam and doing the error detection question, don't limit yourself only to finding out where the error is. Please try to figure out what should be the correct form as well. So woke should be the correct form. So I know that part A has a mistake in it. Now come to these part, which is the options. You know, whenever none of these is there, you have a bad day. Assume that, okay, because none of these actually forces you to go through all the options. But if you're lucky enough and don't have a none of these, generally we don't have a none of these in XAT, so you will be finding it much easier. I know the error is here. So of course the answer is not only D and B and D. Okay, so that's quite obviously known. A में error है, अब किसी भी combination में error हो सकता है, right? So we have to check the other options as well. So let's quickly check down. If we see B, down below the narrow street was empty. All the balconies were crowded with people. Suddenly a crowd was coming down. Now a crowd was coming down doesn't make sense because it is in the past. It should be, it should not be in this mode. When we are addressing a crowd, it should be simple past tense only. Suddenly a crowd came down the street, so therefore C should also be wrong. If I come down, I do see that C is there. Ab last bach gaya mere paas E. Now be very very clever. अगर आप डी में कोई गलती खोज के निकाल लेते हो, सो द आंसर विल बी नन ऑफ दीज, और अगर नहीं निकाल पाते तो चुपचाप ऑप्शन 3 को मार्क करके आना है. So continue. They were all running packed close together. They passed along and up the street towards the bull ring. कोई mistake नहीं है इसमें, and therefore option E will have to be wrong. Let's find out what is wrong. And behind them came more. Oh, comes more. Came more people. So I get my answer, which is number 3. Let's go down to the second question, everyone. Matter is composed molecule whose, पहले sentence में ही गलती मिल गई. Matter is composed of, just like यहाँ पर आपको composed of सही sentence के format में लिखा हुआ है. So of is missing. So therefore statement number A will have the mistake. Let's use the option elimination tick and get the matter done. Only A, all the above, only C तो कभी नहीं होगा. None of these है, इसके लिए हमें बाकी options को भी check करना होगा. So let's go back to B and C. Molecules are composed of atoms so small that about 5 million could be placed in a row, no problem. On the period, okay, C is definitely not wrong because we know that the moment B is not wrong, then all of the above can also not be true. Now let's check for the other options in a very quick run. Okay, quick run. Indivisible constituent of matter, the atom has been found to consist roughly of a proton. The positive electrical element in the atom nucleus surrounded by the electrons, negative electrical elements swirling around. It's all good. So of course option A will be the answer. There you go. Let's move to the third one. The coastlines on the two sides of the Atlantic Ocean had presented a notable parallelism. Okay, so let me tell you that this question is a level up, guys. I literally want all of you to try this question by yourself, क्योंकि इसमें ना सिर्फ English grammar नहीं check की जा रही है, आपकी English की understanding check की जा रही है. सेंटेंस को समझने की कोशिश कीजिए, गलती वहां मिलेगी. The coastlines on the two sides of the Atlantic Ocean had presented a parallelism. Do you think that the Atlantic Ocean no longer exists, or do you think that the coastlines it's talking about no longer exists? Where had presented is used to express some kind of a phenomenon which happened long back. Okay, so by using the past perfect tense, the sentence would convey the idea that parallelism is no longer presented. तो इसीलिए अगर हमें ये बताना है कि ये अभी भी एग्जिस्ट करता है, ये कोस्ट लाइन्स अभी भी पैरेललिज्म शो करती हैं, तो व्हाट शुड आई डू? आई शुड यूज द वर्ड प्रेजेंट. वर्ब प्रेजेंट टेंस यूज करना है. प्रेजेंट्स भी बोल सकते हो आप यहाँ पे. ओके, सो प्रेजेंट्स अ नोटेबल पैरेललिज्म easternmost region of Brazil in Pernambuco. So option A is definitely wrong. So if I go and check the options now, I see that I can eliminate two options directly. Now I have a choice. I am lucky this time because I don't have a none of these. So I have to make a decision with only the sentence number D. अपने टाइम और एनर्जी को बचाइए और सीधा सेंटेंस डी पर जंप मारिए. अगर सेंटेंस डी करेक्ट है, then also you get the answer, and if it's wrong, then also you get the answer without checking for E. So let's see. Similar correspondences are also observed in many other regions of the earth. This observation begins to awaken the scientific interest about 60 years ago. Can you understand that this entire thing is set up in the past, guys? Yes, this entire thing is set up in the past. तो जब सारी चीजें पास्ट में सेटअप है, तो ये सडनली बिगिंस कहाँ से आ गया? एंड इफ यू सी फॉर द सेम टाइप ऑफ एरर इन ऑप्शन ई, you will see that they say that a professor at University of Hamburg uses it as a basis for formulating a theory in geological science. So what error do you find in over here? He will use it. ये फिर प्रेजेंट टेंस में आ गया, ये फिर प्रेजेंट टेंस में आ गया. So this observation began to, you have to use the past tense began to. You can use began here and you can use here. Okay, these two will be the changes, and therefore option 1 is correct. Now, why am I spending so much time just taking a break from mimicking you people as aspirants here? I'm taking a break just to tell you that look, इस तरह से अगर आप प्रैक्टिस करते हो तो आप सिर्फ अपने आप को इनकरेक्ट ऑब्जर्व करने के लिए रेडी नहीं कर रहे हो, आप करेक्ट सजेस्ट करने के लिए भी रेडी कर रहे हो. एंड दिस इज अ सिचुएशन वेयर यू आर प्रिपेयरिंग योरसेल्फ फॉर द वर्स्ट. एंड इफ यू आर रेडी फॉर द वर्स्ट, of course, if there is a small trouble, you will face that very normally. Let's go to the fourth one quickly. The Quechua world. Now I'll move back to serious student like perspective. ठीक है, तो मुझे थोड़ा सा follow अच्छे से कीजिएगा. Let's get down to the answer. The Quechua world is submerged, so to speak, in a cosmic magma that weighs heavily upon it. From the first sentence, I get an idea of the past. It is possessing the rare quality where I got my first mistake. If something we are talking about is in past, it will not, it is possessing is continuous, and continuous is the wrong form here. It possesses would be correct here. It possesses the rare quality of being as it was interjected into the midst of the antagonistic forces. So I know that option B is wrong. Let's quickly have a check on the options to save our time. Number one, only A is not wrong. Oh, that's lovely. So the moment I get a mistake, I know this is my answer because here the options becomes my friend. तो इसी तरह से ऑप्शंस को अपने दोस्त बनाइए और क्वेश्चंस को फास्ट सॉल्व कीजिए. Number 5. Many literary historians have begun to reinterpret and revise the study of women writers. I technically don't find anything wrong in option A. So let's check for the options. 2 and 4. Oh, not 4. 4 is none of these. I just saw it as all of these. So option A is not wrong. So option 2 is not correct because it's not incorrect. Let's go to the other options. इसमें से थोड़ा सा इंटेलिजेंटली देखते हैं कि बी सी दोनों में कॉमन है तो डेफिनेटली बी सी में मिस्टेक होने के चांसेस हैं, बट क्योंकि नन ऑफ दीज है तो जस्ट टू सैटिस्फाई आई विल जस्ट चेक बी वंस. एलिन मोर्स इज सीइंग वुमेन्स लिटरेचर एज इंटरनेशनल मूवमेंट. Okay, again the same problem. Remember, verb plus tenses is the boon. If you work on these two things, your error detection would be fantastic. Plus sentence, of course, the sentence placement, that is also very important. All right, let me just continue with this question. So Ellen Moore's, what is the mistake here you find? Is seeing is the mistake. Okay, sees something is better here, is seeing is wrong. Now I know B is wrong, so therefore B and C dono wrong hoga. Ab the decision making comes between D and E. So if you find D wrong, the answer is option C only. You will not have to go for none of these. But then नहीं हमें तो E भी check करना होगा, क्योंकि अगर E सही हो गया, then the answer would become none of above. So therefore let's check it and produce some greatest literary works of 2 centuries. By the way, let me just continue it from here so that मुझे भी sense मिले कि कहाँ गलतियाँ हो रही हैं. All right. So if I start with the next part, then an undercurrent, rapid and powerful. This movement had begun in the last. Okay, this one is again a problem. If we are referring to some time period, let's say here the time period we are referring to is this 18th century. So if we are talking about 18th century, we all know that it should not have had begun. Had begun is wrong. Okay, it should only use began. Works cool. Let's move to the D part and produce some of the greatest literary works of the 2 centuries as well as the most of the lucrative pot boilers. Hey, I don't find anything wrong here. And since I don't find anything wrong here, the option A has to be the right answer. Okay, but again as I said that E भी check कर लो, क्योंकि अगर B C E हो गया तो वो भी none of these हो सकता है. For readily discernible historical reasons, women have characteristically concerned themselves with matters more or less peripheral to male concerns, or at least slightly skewed from them. It's absolutely correct. Prepositions bhi sahi hai. So therefore option 1 is the correct answer. Finally, moving to the next one, guys. This is a new category altogether. Now इसमें आपको पकड़ के दिखाना है कि कौन सा सही है, which one is the correct sentence. And now I'm going to tell you a very fantastic process of actually figuring out how the answers can be found out very fast. Otherwise, अगर आप एक एक sentence को एक एक बार पढ़ोगे तो I can guarantee you your accuracy will go down to 50%. Let me tell you what you need to focus on. You cannot actually highlight it on the screen, but you can definitely use your notepads to write down the keywords which are different. For example, here in the first sentence and the second sentence, I can see that the thing which is different is this: we were realizing and we realized. तो इन दोनों के बीच पहले comparison कर लीजिए. Okay, that's the best way to go about these type of questions. First, make a quick comparison over here. In a program that spanned 10 years, we were realizing then that the existence of a single thing. Do you think that we were realizing makes sense? Of course not. So option 1 is out because of the word we were realizing. So we realizing makes sense, right? Now let's compare the second sentence with the third sentence. In a program that spanned 10 years, we had been realizing, okay, again, this one looks funny. We had been realizing is also wrong, because if you were in this situation, that how do you go about? We realized then that the existence of, will this make sense? Or let's check 2 and 4. In a program that was spanning 10 years, we realized then that the existence of a single cancer state specific cell is nothing but a scientific illusion. This makes more sense. Can I tell you the reason why? Because 10 years spanning is a continuous process. So you have to show some continuation using the word ing. And therefore number 4 is appropriate compared to number 2. बस इसी तरह से सेवेंथ वाले को भी करने की कोशिश कीजिए. एंड येट इफ न्यूअर ड्रग्स हैव नॉट मेट द एक्सपेक्टेशन, had not met the expectations, they raised, had not, they raised, had not, they raised. What is the difference between option 1 and 2? Have not, had not. So first clarify, what do you want here? Choice 2 is incorrect because it contains one verb in the past perfect tense and the other in the simple. Past perfect and simple. ये combination गलत है, इसीलिए number 2 out है. When I go back to the other option, which is option 3, had not met and raised, same reason, out. Okay. Number 4, have not met the expectation they were raising. Come on, continuous is not needed, and therefore we go back to the first sentence, which is absolutely correct. Have not met the expectations they raised, what explains the 20% increase in a 5-year survival. That's correct. Okay, let's move down to the next one. When labor costs dropped was, drop, did, dropped, did, were dropping, did. This is the difference. अगर तुरंत अपनी आंखों में ये डिफरेंस ले आओगे तो आपको आंसर बहुत जल्दी मिल जाएगा. Was की वजह से this is wrong. So option 1 is definitely wrong. Was word is wrongly used over here. And the second thing which you have to focus on or figure out is ड्रॉप एंड डिड. प्रेजेंट टेंस का डिड के साथ कोई लेना देना नहीं है, ड्रॉप्ड का डिड के साथ लेना देना है, एंड वर्ड ड्रॉपिंग इज कंटिन्यूअस जिसका डिड के साथ कोई लेना देना नहीं है. सो नंबर 3 इज द मोस्ट अप्रोप्रिएट वन ओवर हियर. नंबर 9, let's again find out the same thing. Where are the places which differs? So mandates are all same. Both parties permit, parties should be permitting, parties permits, parties will permit. Should be permitting, will permit will not make any sense over here. And if I give you the simple sentence construction rule that plural के साथ permit लगेगा, not permits, which is singular. So it also makes the answer easier. Number 1. Now the last non-PYQ, global strategies to control infectious diseases historically included the erection of barriers to international travel and immigration. Now, historically word has a very important significance in this. The appropriate tense to be used with this word historically should imply that there is a transition from past to present. So, what would be the correct form to use here? A present perfect tense. Okay? Where do you find the present perfect tense? Historically included control infectious diseases, have historically been including, have historically included historically are included. So I told you I need present perfect tense, जिसकी हेल्प से मैं ये दिखा सकूं कि पास्ट से प्रेजेंट तक हम ट्रांजिशन कर रहे हैं. आर इंक्लूडिंग डजंट मेक सेंस. हैव हिस्टोरिकली इंक्लूडेड इज पीपीटी, दैट इज present perfect tense. Been including doesn't make sense, and only included with no have here is not ppt. Okay, and therefore the answer would therefore be number 3, a transition from the past to the present. अब इतना सब कुछ करने के बाद I can guarantee you that you will find the PYQ super simple. और मैं ये क्यों कर रही हूँ, I'll reiterate it because I want you to do only a couple of 10 to 20 or 30 questions maximum. एंड बट उसको इतने अच्छे से एनालाइज करो कि आपको 100 क्वेश्चंस करने की जरूरत ना पड़े, और वैसे भी आपके पास टाइम नहीं है. सो मेक श्योर यू प्रैक्टिस प्रॉपरली लाइक दिस. एंड जितने भी रूल्स आपने अभी इस वीडियो में देखे ना, ट्राई टू रिवाइज इट एंड रिकॉल इट. वीडियो देख लिया, उसके बाद एक बार फिर से देख लो टू सी द रूल्स प्रॉपरली, and then just close your eyes and try to recall whatever rules you can remember and write it down on the piece of paper. You will not do good in the first attempt, but then rewatch the video and then try again after one day. You will see you are making better, better results. So let's go to the PYQs now. Let's be intelligent here. We have to find out the correct sentences. Look at all the 6 sentences that are really small. कुछ भी जो आपको easy लगे. For example, the very first thing which struck my eyes was married with, and I very easily know that it is not married with, it is married to someone. ठीक है, तो जैसे ही मुझे ये incorrect मिल गया, I know I have to find the correct statements, so my option should not have a 5 in it. A, C and D are out of the game, completely out of the game. Okay, now when they are completely out of the game, I know that I have to choose between B and E. Now if I can only determine statement number 1 is right or wrong, I will get my answer. Exam will begin from 2 p.m. on January 8. What is the mistake here, guys? The exam begins at a specific time, and therefore this is incorrect, and therefore this is not the answer. So automatically the answer becomes option B. आपको बाकी options और statements check करने की भी जरूरत नहीं है. So it's not that there are 6 sentences and you have to see all the 6 sentences. I saw 2 sentences and got the answer right, which should not take you more than 1 minute. Okay, let's go. Number 12. Same process, just first understand what they are asking you. They are asking you the incorrect sentences here. So you have a choice. There is a pair of two sentences which will be incorrect. So look at anything you can find first. Okay, for example, the very first sentence captures my eye. You don't accuse someone for something, you accuse someone of something, of stealing. So यहाँ पर off होना चाहिए, and the moment I know one is incorrect, all the options having 1 will have my attention. Now it's only to make a decision between 2 and 5. I can see 5 right now. He is good in playing something. He is good at playing something. तो ये देख सकते हो, ये पूरा PYQ जो था वो preposition based था, preposition oriented था. So I know 5 is the incorrect one. So the answer is option C. So that's how you can really do these questions much faster and easier, guys. And just to remind you that this PDF will be shared with you in Telegram as well. And video अच्छा लगा हो, interesting लगा हो, तो definitely session को like कर दे. Share it with more and more people because that's how XAT will grow. And if you're new to the channel, then definitely hit that subscribe button. Many such important and informative videos will be up on the channel, guys. Comment below and let me know कैसा लगा. And see you in the next one. Till then, take care of yourself and study really hard.